So this one here is a very special book that I received through Sister Pauline. It's a 16th century medical textbook written by Professor Taberner-Montanus, and he was a German doctor and pharmacist. And I just want to demonstrate here how valuable this knowledge is. So Taberner-Montanus wrote this book over a period of 36 years. And he collated all the knowledge that was known at this point, going back to the school of Hippocrates. So this is knowledge that now is over 2,500 years old. And when we go to thyme, and I read here all of the medicinal effects of thyme. So it's used for when people have breathing difficulties, when people are coughing, when people have stomach upsets. And then when we counter-check this information and we go to a modern textbook, so for example we go to a pharmacopoeia, so it says that thyme has carminative properties due to its content of volatile oils, and it is an ingredient used as a cough linctus and for the treatment of whooping cough and bronchitis. And then if we go a step further and we're looking at the actual scientific research articles, and for example one that I just pulled out is a controlled multi-center study which checked herbal versus synthetic saccharolytic drugs for acute bronchitis, and the outcome of this study was they were equal, but herbal medicine, which was thyme, was trending better with no side effects. So again, we have 3,000 articles underpinning this centuries-old knowledge. And that's what really excites me. And it's quite funny, when I first came to New Zealand, people asked, if I was doing that hippie stuff. Plant medicine was kind of viewed in that way. And I've been pushing back ever since to say, no, this is scientific. This is scientifically underpinned. So thyme is just a prime example to really show how coherent the medicinal use over such a long period of time is. My name is Sandra Clare. I have a PhD in health sciences and I'm also a medical anthropologist. And most importantly, I'm a medical herbalist. And of course, most people will know me as a founder of Artemis here in New Zealand. So I was very fortunate that early in my life, I had the opportunity to learn with a traditional Swiss herbalist, with Sister Pauline. And she is very renowned for her work of combining traditional medicine with more modern medicine. So she would take me into the Swiss Alps and would show me how actually proper plant medicine is made. And without that experience, I doubt that I would ever have been able to actually do plant medicine in the way I practice now and found Artemis later on. So I came from Switzerland to New Zealand in 1995, and one of the frustrations that I had was I didn't have access to the plant medicines that I was used to when I was working with Sister Pauline, and in Switzerland where plant medicine is part of public health care. So literally the only way I could help my patients was actually making the medicines myself for them. And so I became an accidental entrepreneur through that, and that's how Artemis was founded. So we are a traditional plant medicine company and we are the leaders in New Zealand for that particular field of expertise. So the medicines that we're making are helpful for anything that you could experience during your life cycle. Somebody is maybe prone to coughs or colds, or has rashes on their skins, or somebody can't sleep, or a child has terrible cough. We're making very specific medicines that help with these common ailments that people feel unwell but don't necessarily want to take pharmaceuticals because of the side effects that they can experience. Healthcare is normally not part of the debate of sustainability. But we need to realize that pharmaceuticals not only are based on petrochemicals, they also use a lot of the petrochemicals. So they have a very high carbon footprint. And as consumers, as we consume these products, we actually add to that carbon footprint story. So I always say, they are wonderful remedies when we really need it in acute situations. but many of them are highly toxic, not just for the environment, but also for our bodies. So we need to balance this up and use, in my view, pharmaceuticals only when we really, really need them. Environmental considerations were at the very, very fundamental base of this company. So Artemis is a triple bottom line company, and that means people, planet, and profit. And people and planet come first. And what that means is we choose our ingredients very, very carefully. So they have to be organic. I want really pure plant medicines. And the lovely thing about plant medicine is, in fact, because we grow the medicines, they're not made in the lab, they're grown out of the earth, is we actually help to sequester carbon. So by using plant medicines, you actually contribute to a cooling of the environment. When I was still training with Sister Pauline, she taught me a product that used thyme for coughs and colds. So at Artemis, we are making a product that uses the natural environment of Central Otago and then processes it through to a beverage that people can take for coughs and colds. And the harvesting takes place by hand, so it's very, very sustainable. We're not hurting the plants, so we have a very light footprint on the earth. And then the techniques we use to extract these very valuable medicinal plants, the thyme, is very low tech as well, so that we again, are not adding to further carbon. It's a wonderful parallel story of doing a business that is good for people, but also good for the environment. And I may need to add that the caring for the environment is really a fundamental thought in traditional medicine. And you go around the world into the traditional communities, and everybody will understand that the planet is our mother. If our planet is suffering, if our mother is suffering, we as children cannot be healthy. So this combination of what I do in my business has to be good for people and planet makes total sense in terms of how we are interconnected. We are not separate. We are part of the wide web of nature. Yeah.
The injuries and the deaths we see are 99.9% man-caused, unfortunately. The fact that so many birds and wildlife are injured means that we're not looking after our environment as well as we should. I would like my legacy to be to leave the world a better place for the animals and birds in it.